Hello, Swivelheads. This is Greg Allison with Green Greg's coming to you on the 16th of December 21. Time on deck is 22:39 hours Central Standard Time. The military experts have just finally caught up after almost 2 years with what I've been bringing you from way back when. That, in fact, China may well be developing and ready to launch a ship container type nuclear missile from Venezuela to the United States and surprise nuclear attack. I kid you not. I brought you this stuff almost 2 years ago, and military experts have just now come up with this idea. Oh, China might be doing this. In fact, it looks like they're developing this system. Wow. And it's a dual use system for commercial and military purposes. So I want to show you the video on this. Now, seriously, I brought you this along with Stacy Zivicki almost 2 years ago. And May of 2020 is when I believe I first put this on a video here. But I talked about this kind of concept earlier, and this is something I've been concerned about for some time. Now, yes, China's actually produced a video showing this type system, and the military analysts are quite concerned about it. So I kid you not, they finally caught up with Green Greg's with Greg Allison. Guys, and Stacy Zivicki had a vision from God that depicted this, and she did not know a thing about EMP missile systems. She had no knowledge of military strategy or military tactics, and yet over 2 years ago, she had a vision of an attack on the United States that was a perfect sneak attack military strategy, the kind of thing I had been worried about that most military experts were not up on at that time. And I'd been putting this out for a while to you guys. So check this out. You're not going to believe it. Guys, I bring you this as part of your eyes wide open and head on a swivel news, because I bring you news that you need to know about to keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel, to let you know that this is real, guys. This need for prepping is real. And you do need to share it with your friends, because I'm also going to bring you a video probably tomorrow, if I can pull off producing it, to explain why I'm expecting China to attack possibly next year. While there's really strong pressure for China to attack, well, just a matter of months to attack Taiwan. If they're going to do it, their last best chance might be this winter. Their last best chance to start it, and into the spring for the actual invasion. So this may indeed unfold just exactly like Stacy Zivicki's vision. And this is where the military experts are now. I kid you not. I'm going to show you all this in a minute. So I'll bring you these videos and more that you can share with your friends and family, so they will know to prep and prepare, so they won't be coming to eat you when they run out of food. Spread this stuff far and wide. Get everybody you can prepping as soon as possible, because guys, we're coming to some bad times here. That's what I'm worried from several different dimensions. Guys, this is 1939 in so many ways. I've never seen so many warning signs in my life. I've never seen a time like this with so many things that are going bad at the same time simultaneously. Now, I hope and pray I'm wrong. This is one time I really pray I'm absolutely wrong. But the indicators tell me you better be alert. You better be ready. And so you need to subscribe to my channel, bang the notification bell, and click all. Check out my videos about farming, growing your own vegetables and from your garden, how to garden without having to go to the store to buy stuff, because I show you how to use worm castings and compost tea, worm tea, and these kind of things where you don't have to go to the stores, guys. Watch my videos. That's why my videos go more into detail about bed preparations in your garden and most of your other gardening channels, because they're not trying to get you to where you need to be prepping gardening. And also, I got videos how to eat free from the weeds and the trees. But guys, you really need to be able to have long-term food storage, and I got that covered too. If you go to prepwithgreg.com, I got a special now. It's $100 off a 3-month supply of food that lasts you 25 years. I kid you not. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 2,000 calories a day, a deal to make you a winner and keep hunger away. So think about that. Most of the competitors only have 800 calories a day is what they're offering. You can't live on 800 calories a day. Believe me, that's a starvation diet. In fact, the starvation diet studies usually are a little better than 800 calories a day. And this stuff is very portable. You can bug out with it. The kids can carry it. And these are great packaging, great buckets that have dual use after you use after you consume the food they're in. And hey guys, these pouches are wonderful, much smaller and more portable, easy to put in your backpack than the competitors. Check it out. There's simply nobody better than My Patriot Supply. It's what you find when you go to prepwithgreg.com. For so many types of long-term food storage, they got it covered across the board. They got more selection and more varieties, and they still have supplies unlike many others. And you can get other prepping supplies there too. Just go to prepwithgreg.com, click the logo. Look at the special there, take it there, and you can click the logo and go in and find all the kind of prepping supplies that you may be needing right now as we're getting into tough times. It includes water purification equipment. So remember, you got to purify and sanitize your water in a time like this. They've even got air purification. If you're living in a bug-out zone time, yeah, you just might need it. Now, buckle down, guys. Buckle up. Here we go. I'm going to show you this stuff, and I'm going to show you some other background on it. I'm going to show you an article that come out here. Let's do a share screen. Ding, ding, ding. Here we are. I kid you not. Here it is. New missile crisis. China could smuggle nuclear missiles hidden in shipping containers, what I've been talking about, to Venezuela for surprise attack on U.S. Experts warn. Huh? Experts? What? Y'all just got around to this? You should have been talking to me 2 years ago that told you about this. Now look, this is a shipping container out in the middle of nowhere. Of course, it's a one space in English. The Chinese Communist flag on here, of course, the CCP flag, one space missile. Guys, I want to play this video for you in a little bit. Wow, this is a tactical launch depiction. You don't launch commercial vehicles out of the middle of nowhere like that. That's not the way you do a commercial launch. This is a dual use technology. Yeah, they could do commercial satellite launches with or ICBM launches, guys. Check it out. China could smuggle nuclear missiles containing in shipping containers into ports in South America for surprise attack on the U.S. Again, experts have warned. They're talking about this and later. Container missiles are loaded in the ship to ships sailed across the Pacific, right through the Panama Canal, perhaps, which is mostly run by China. And ding, ding, ding. Yeah, look at this. And where would they go? Venezuela. Venezuela. Who's been talking about Venezuela in the past? They get right through the Panama Canal. What did I tell you? Who's running the Panama Canal? Who administers it? Yeah. Thank you, Jimmy Carter. Thank you for that, Jimmy Carter, for giving that up and letting the CCP take over that canal that we developed at great risk to ourselves. It has been suggested that China's working on a larger version of a weapon as part of a state decreed dual use deal with its space programs, its military and space. You gotta remember, their space program is run by their military. That's why we don't participate in their space station, does not allow them to participate in our international space station because their space program is not a civilian space program like ours. And our civilian space program, by law, can only deal with other civilian agencies. So there you go, in terms of a partnership of that level. Not to say that NASA hasn't worked with DOD on some things, but in terms of international countries, that's the kind of deal. That's what's kept them out in the past before we were having such consternations with China. Back when we thought China was great and wonderful, we still kept them out of our international space station, and that is why. Rick Fisher, senior fellow in Asian military affairs at the International Assessment and Strategy Center. Hey, Rick Fisher, you ought to come talk to me if you want to know something about what can be done. And I'm going to show you what I've done for launching out of the Gulf of Mexico before we're done too, guys. I've been there. I've done it. Yes, I have launched from the Gulf of Mexico. Okay, from a ship. Been there, done that. Yes, I have done that. And and meanwhile, Captain James Farnell, a former intelligence chief of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, said the space rocket container launchers obviously meant for military use. You can tell that from their video, guys. Sam Armstrong, a China expert from the Henry Jackson Society, said these container missiles can be key in China's smuggling weapons across the world. Well, no kidding. Again, including to rogue states like Venezuela, across the world. So they're anywhere. Wow. I'm not going to read a whole lot more of the obvious here because it's telling what the video shows. We're about to look at the video. Let's see, the final row, I'm talking about the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis now. Well, you consider this Cuban Missile Crisis all over again because Venezuela is on the verge of being set up for this, it looks like. Venezuela is also seen as one of the U.S. biggest foes in South America and is quietly cozying up to China, receiving $45 billion in loans. Well, no kidding. In this objective is not confident China could use the hidden weapons to form as a form of missile diplomacy. They might claim we're sending them there for civilian use. Oh yeah, this is our satellite launcher. So here's the pictures they're depicting, and this is all in the video, guys. These are like two 40-foot ISO shipping containers welded together, making 80-foot long containers. So this is a big missile. We've been talking about missiles to launch from a regular ISO shipping container. This is a large missile, guys, really large missile. When you see the rockets being put in those containers that go on trains, ships, and trucks, you can call it dual purpose. I don't know what civilian use. You don't have a civilian use to put them on trains to launch. You don't have a civilian use to put them on ships to launch like that. This is clearly a sneak attack system. Definitely a sneak attack developed system here. He warned that they could be armed with nuclear weapons contained in a shielded container to avoid detection. Yes. I'll show you, he's already done this. He's already slipped missiles into a ship and motored around in the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean Sea with them. North Korea in 2013. Yes, I will show you that in a little bit with a ship called the Changchang Gang, which you may have heard me talk about that before, of course. So here we go, guys. Look at this. China's container missiles. See, they show them missiles hitting these containers can be out to sea. Guys, they can actually launch them from sea, just like Stacy Zivicki envisioned. And see, that gives countries deniability, just like right here. See, the Israelis practice this. You see, guys, a similar missile being fired from an Israeli what? Cargo ship. Yes, from a cargo ship. For some time, many have thought that China was working on establishing a naval base in Tanzania. It's not Tanzania, it's Tanzania, a country on Africa's eastern coast that has a strong, long-standing military relationship with Beijing. Look, that's what the people in Tanzania tell me. It's Tanzania, not Tanzania. Military. Meanwhile, China's also taking the lead to the next stage of the global arms race for a nuke-capable missile around the world. Yeah, they're hypersonic missile, guys. So they got the hypersonic missiles that can fly around the world, go into orbit, come down. Oh yeah, they actually launched a missile from that missile. So they had a missile that launched a missile, guys, that hypersonic missile. So China is developing capabilities for what? A sneak attack. And I did a video not too long ago, fairly recently, explaining why China is likely to do sneak attacks, how they have always attacked their superior forces. They attacked American forces in a sneak attack in the Korean War. They attacked Russian forces with a sneak attack back in the days when America and Russia were each far stronger than China, and China risked a nuclear war. In fact, Russia came really close to nuking China over that. And MacArthur clearly wanted to do that himself and was fired for his desire to want to just take China on and Russia too, and just push from North Korea all the way across Asia. You know, MacArthur wanted to end communism with one big push, and he was fired because he was actually really chomping at the bit to do that. As you might know. All right, so let's look at this, guys. I'm gonna look at this video. We're gonna watch this video. Watch the video, it says. Now this video, this is produced by the Chinese military. So this should be I should not get a strike on it. If I do, I'm gonna be highly perturbed. I will mute the music in case the music gives me a strike. Hang on, just as soon as it starts. You know, whoop.
Want to hear?
I've got a commercial. Really? You got to be kidding me. Commercial on this. Skip ad. Wow. Here we go, guys. Look at this. One space in English with the Chinese flag there, of course. There's the Chinese Communist flag. Here. This is a Chinese video. There's the missiles in these launchers. These are extra long ISO shipping containers. Extra long. Now they show them being open from the top and this thing to deploy strap. Why do you do that? That's a tactical deployment. That is a tactical deployment. That is not, so you can mount them on trucks, mount them on ships, put them through intermodal facilities, put them on rail lines, guys, airplanes. Look here. Truck goes out in the middle of the wilderness, somewhere out in the middle of the countryside. Yeah, this is not a commercial, just leaves it in the middle of the road. Missile pops out and launches. This is a tactical launch. This is not the way you launch a civilian. You don't sneak around to launch a civilian satellite. No sneaking required. You don't have to launch them from trains, planes, and automobiles. Really, trains, planes, and ships here in this case. You see what they're showing? There it is, a wreck on a ship, guys. On a ship at sea, plane to sea. That this is the capability. Why would you do it, guys? Let's go back to this. Why would you, from a cargo ship? This is not. This ship is loaded with cargo containers. This is not a dedicated launch. This is a sneak attack capacity. You would only do this for a sneak attack. Look at this, guys. From a cargo ship with cargo on it. Here they are depicting a launch. This is exactly what Stacy Zivicki saw in her vision. Now they're showing how to expand it, put extra little boosters on it, use it for civilian satellite launches. Now that is a civilian satellite launch from a launch gantry at a regular launch complex. Yeah, that is what you'd expect for a civilian launch. This is a dual purpose, dual use. The core of the missile is. Now, put all the strap-ons on, then that is something else. But you don't need all of that to launch on America from Venezuela. So that's a suborbital launch, and you could hit any part in the United States of the missile like this, to include an EMP attack. An EMP attack would be the easiest attack to do from there. Holy guac and smoke moly, guys. A sneak attack would almost certainly include an EMP attack upon us. And they could also, if they got a few of these, take out other selected targets in so doing. And we don't have radar systems in the Gulf of Mexico monitoring from our weak underbelly in the Gulf of Mexico. Something my dear friend, former head of the SDIO organization, Ambassador Hank Cooper, has advocated. He's also advocated putting Aegis ashore on the Gulf down there. Oh, I don't know what that is. I'm watching that. Oh, that's on the tornadoes. God bless those poor people that got hit by all these tornadoes. They said they found 5 more that didn't make it. All right. So let me show you guys. Here it is. This is May the 13th, 2020. Almost 2 years ago. This is me, and this is Stacy Zivicki. And we're talking here. Now, she's got a channel called Sustainable Stewards. She's also got a channel called Battle Axe. She's got 2 YouTube channels, guys. Sustainable Stewards is more of her gardening channel. Unlike me, she separated her gardening topics, her homesteading topics, from her prepping and what's going on in the world topics. That other stuff she carries on her channel, Battle Axe. Battle Axe News, guys. So check it out. Here we are talking about just this very thing. Now, see, Stacy saw me talking about power grid defense. She saw me talking about EMP. She didn't know what an EMP was. She had this vision. She had a vision, and she called me up and says, Greg, I've had this vision. What is this? What happens? What could this do? And I said, yeah. I was shocked, guys. And let me stop the sharing just to talk to you guys. And I'll go back to sharing it. I was shocked when she called me. This woman worked in a dairy. She's a farmer, dairy farmer, very religious though, she'd been having a number of visions. A lot of stuff was happening that revealed the veracity of the kind of visions she was having. She'd have visions about stuff, and that would happen. That would happen. And she had this very complex, detailed vision that about this attack. And in her vision, 2 missiles launched on the United States from offshore of Venezuela and did an EMP attack. They exploded above America. And she had, like I said, no knowledge of this, that somebody who milks cows had this dream of the perfect tactical approach to do a sneak attack on the United States. The very kind of thing I was worried about. And I was concerned about Venezuela because why? Venezuela is a country that's politically unstable. It's also aligned with China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. They all operate out. And any of these countries could pull off the kind of attack that we're talking about. Any one of them. So there's absolute plausible deniability. If such an attack arises out of that area, who did it? Who do you attack? Everybody? You're going to attack Russia and China and North Korea and Iran? All these countries could launch something like that. Iran has been shipping all kinds of missiles to Venezuela. And apparently so is China. We already know this. Venezuela is buying missiles. Now, what kinds they're buying, we don't know entirely. But this has been a big concern of the State Department. I talked about that back during the Orange Man administration, if you know what I mean. Trying to talk a little bit in code. You know, they were quite concerned about this. And Stacy, though, that she had that vision, and she had a vision detailing a tactic that most military strategists hadn't even thought of yet. The kind of thing when I was Greg Allison worried about this kind of stuff, for one, I put a lot of time in thinking about military strategy, military tactics, and EMP attacks, because I have chaired 2 power grid defense conferences. I've been very concerned about power grid defense. I knew about the Chinese Chung gang. And guess what else? Guess what else, guys? I myself have launched rockets from ships in the Gulf of Mexico. And one had a motor just like this. This is the motor that we used on my Hart Catch Prize rocket. This is a solid fuel grade of the motor. This was the test motor before we did the rocket flight. And I have been there, done that. That rocket was 17.5 foot tall. And it had a lot of capability to reach a lot of places if we had tried to aim for that. So I've done multiple launches of the Gulf of Mexico. Been there, done that. I even got the t-shirt, literally. No, I started that stuff back in the 90s. Back in the 90s, guys. So we're talking some time ago, over 2 decades ago. 2 decades ago, I was already finished with this stuff. Yeah, my last launch was in 2000. Yeah, what year is it? 2021? Okay, yeah, over 2 decades ago. That's what I was doing. So if I was doing that on a shoestring budget 2 decades ago, what could a big country like China pull off? What could North Korea pull off? These guys develop ICBMs. These guys have nuclear capabilities. What could they pull off? Look what I did. So let's go back into share mode. Yeah, I was really concerned that she could have this kind of vision. But we talked about this again on my channel. We weren't just done with that conversation. We came back to it. We dipped it this well one more time to try to drive this home. We did another video on it, December the 6th. A little over, this is a year and 10 days ago. A year and 10 days ago, we did this video on this topic. Stacy, Zivicki, and I. We were bringing this to you guys. Her vision of an EMP attack. And I did a video quite recently about, let's see if I can find it on my channel here, about a sneak attack on the U.S. Why China would do sneak attacks. Or I don't know. Sometimes you can find stuff by coming here. Let's put sneak attack.
Hello,
Yikes.
I'm Greg Allison with Green Greg's Gardening Barn Farm.
I hate that video. That is so dated. I need to replace that. Whoops. Yeah. Okay. Sneak attack. Let's try sneak. Comes up. I don't remember exactly what I named it, but we'll find. I'm going to show you from a PowerPoint presentation on power grid defense. All right, come on, find it. There. All right. Top 5 risk to the end 2020 Armageddon. That's interesting. Yeah. Oh yeah. Why China will strike first. This is it, guys. I did this over a month ago. Why China will strike first. There's one of the ads. A motor. All right. Hey, that's what I need. Why China will strike first. Believe it or not, there it is. Now, I'm gonna stop this. Well, I'm gonna stop this share. I'm gonna do another share. Hello. I'm gonna go to a presentation I gave. I have been given for years. I gave one of them. This was the version I created for the LeakCon conference a couple of years ago. Ding, ding, ding. Let's see if we can find it. There it is. I'm gonna do a share of this. Share. Here we go. Here. And we're talking about likelihoods of a threat of an EMP attack or an attack to take down our power grid. Congressional EMP Commission's nightmare scenario of an EMP attack launched off of a freighter near the U.S. coast. Well, maybe not near the U.S. coast. Such an attack cannot be intercepted by missile defense and can be performed what? Anonymously. Anonymously. The U.S. wouldn't know against whom to retaliate. You see, this is the points I've been making for some long time now. I pitched this at LeakCon. What's the date on this presentation? And I pitched this before too. I've been pitching this since I did my power grid defense conferences, guys. And I did my last power grid defense conference in 2018. How long ago was that? 3 years. And the one before that was 2 years earlier. So I've been talking this topic. This very chart actually goes back in my presentations 5 years. 5 years I've been talking this topic. North Korea's freighter Changchang carried 2 potentially nuclear-capable SA-2 missiles on their launchers into the Gulf of Mexico a few months after Kim Jong-un threatened a nuclear missile strike against the United States. Now, I got to give credit to some of this material to Dr. Peter Vincent Pry and his book, which I've got here, Blackout Wars. Okay. And if y'all might not know, but I also serve on his EMP Commission for National Homeland Defense as the Alabama State Director under Dr. Peter Pry. So I have strong connections here, guys. I actually participate in 2 national level power grid defense organizations. North Korea's freighter Changchang. There we go, guys. And here it is. July 2013. The Changchang was intercepted after it passed through the Panama Canal on its way back to North Korea. What did they find under it? 2 missile launchers. So these 2 missiles sitting in them, fully erected, 2 full up SA-2 missiles on their launchers were hidden under these bags of sugar. Now, this thing had been running around in the Gulf of Mexico, perhaps the Caribbean Sea. Did they do a practice for a hit on the United States? And could that practice have been in April? Yeah, because what else happened? On the 16th of April, 2016, somebody attacked with bang bangs these big power transformers at the Metcalf station that supplies San Jose. 16 April 2013, attack on the Metcalf stations. It was professional. They used AKs. And the Naval Civil said this looked like pretty much like a dry run. As I've told you so many times, only the 9 stations could take us down. And what else happened on that same day? That same day that the Metcalf station was attacked was the very first time that the KMS 3-2 satellite from North Korea flew over Washington, D.C. So did they do a multi-pronged dry run attack on the United States that day? So, oh, our satellite's going to Washington, D.C. We're hitting the Metcalf station. We got a boat running around in the Gulf of Mexico. Could we do a 3? And maybe they even practice a hack attack that day. We don't know, because they got some hackers hacking a missile, this fractional orbital bombardment type system, except they don't have to re-enter. They just got exploded from orbit for an EMP attack. No guidance, no re-entry required at all. Somebody said, Korea hasn't perfected the re-entry technology, is what they were claiming years ago. You know what? For an EMP attack, you don't even re-enter. You don't re-enter. You do it from space. You don't need that kind of technology. And it would totally devastate the United States of America. Totally devastate. Now, how did Greg Allison know about these kind of things? How does Greg Allison? This is what I was doing, guys. You see this? That's me running this program developing rockets out of a garage. See, that's another smaller rocket motor with a nozzle in a garage back in the 1990s. This is back in the mid 90s. This was our electronics shop. This was on the NASA Pearl River barge in the 20th of June, 1998. That's that balloon sticking up off the NASA Pearl River barge. This is our balloon launch return vehicle. Yeah, a reusable, unmanned vehicle. Well, it's a drone based, except this one was human controlled. Yeah, see, here's the motor for this. Now the fuel grain, the solid fuel grain, that's the oxidizer tank. That's the solid fuel grain. Now you can see that's a lot smaller than what I had in my hand a few minutes ago. And here we are practicing with that balloon launch return vehicle. This was the actual launch of it when it took off. Here it is being launched from the C. Michael Kelly, a ship in the Gulf of Mexico. That is me, that little tuft of hair down there. That's Gene Hornbuckle. This is the chief engineer of Aerostar, the balloon manufacturer right here, Mike Smith. And let's see here. That is probably that's Glenn May, who one of the guys who died in the Spaceship 2 cold flow test later in Mojave Airport. Yeah, Glenn May is right here. I would say it's probably Steve Mistakis. I don't know who that is. Hidden by the pole. And here is my Hark Catch Prize rocket motor. And the solid fuel grain is from here to here. What I had in my hand is from here. The oxidizer tank is covered in foam here and all wrapped into basically a greenhouse that maintain pressure at altitude. And this is the avionics payload section of the rocket itself. And also we had a cold gas spin system in here. So there it is, guys. That is the Hark Catch. That was so avionics. We developed our own boards. That was a launcher, uplinks avionic module. And these Bella switches were safety switches, so that there was no ignition circuit contact below a certain altitude that they were set to. This is our ground stations we developed. Yeah, okay. And so this is what an EMP can do over the United States, guys. Take out the whole country. Now, if you're launching out of Venezuela, you know, you could easily launch a couple of these and take the East Coast and middle of the country from there. You might do something else on the West Coast, or you can still do that too. So there we go. Stop sharing, guys. There you have it. I've been talking about this for 5 years. I was published in Blackout Wars even earlier. So, but I've embellished on this. I've shown the capability of how it can be done. I have done these kind of operations, at least not with a nuke, but launching rockets from ships over 20 years ago. Over 20 years ago. I showed you 1998. Yeah, I was doing this in 1998. How long ago was that? 23 years ago. I was launching rockets from ships. I'm using balloons, another platform. Balloons are also a platform that you could use to deliver EMP devices. There you go. Or use a smaller rocket to reach the same kind of penetration, to go the same kind of distances from a smaller rocket. A rocket like that could launch the kind of attacks I'm talking about. Absolutely. So, and you could sneak it. Nobody would know what you're doing. Yeah, that's the scary thing. Plausible deniability. Who did it? Who do we blame? What does it mean? If, oh, Greg, well, they couldn't do that because we would attack them. We would do this. Well, there's two reasons that we might not attack them. One, it's the plausible line. Who did it? Two, we can't communicate to do the attack. If you got an EMP super weapon that puts out 200,000 volts per meter, as was reported by Dr. William Graham, former head of NASA, and he was a former NASA administrator. He was one of the temporary administrators. He got it directly from Russian generals when the Soviet Union fell apart, that they had developed the EMP super weapons. And he read this in the congressional record back in 2008. So this is not classified information. that they had a EMP superbug put at 200,000 volts per meters on our power lines right here. That is 4 times higher than the military hardening standard that we had for our facilities at the time. Now, maybe there's some new classified hardening standard. But let me tell you what, guys, our military forces, our nuclear forces, to respond to anything have to have an emergency activation message. EMA, it's EAM, emergency alert message or activation. I forget exactly. They have to have a verified EAM in order to initiate a launch, whether it be from submarine or anywhere out in our forces. If our capability to transmit that message has been taken out by an EMP, we don't launch anything. It's over. We do nothing. No nuclear systems get launched at all. Why? The guys don't get an EAM. Remember, that was the point made at the end of the movie Crimson Tide about the submarine, rogue American submarine. At one time, our submarine commanders had autonomy and ability to respond on their own. We took that away from them. They can't even do it if they wanted to, because we were so worried about an accidental launch of a nuclear war. But that may, in fact, prevent us from being able to retaliate against an attack like this. So we may be blind and incapable. Maybe. So let's do it. Well, why would China do it? Why would they or somebody else do this? Well, if they want to attack Taiwan and don't want us responding to it, that's one way to take it out. If suddenly the United States is crumbling inside because our power grid's down, our military is going to come home to deal with stuff here to try to keep this country going. Because we're going to be in a world hurt. What that means is, in a year's time, according to EMP Congressional Task Force, a report they put out over 14 years ago, would lose 9 out of 10 people, and that wouldn't even account for what would happen as a result of the nuclear power plants and spent fuel rod pools, coolant pools, spent fuel or fuel coolant pools, which are outside the containment building of the nuclear plant, and have far more radioactive material. Guys, this would be a tragedy, unprecedented, unbelievable. It would be the end of America. The United States is not hardening the grid, even despite the fact that we've been out here pushing, talk. But it hasn't happened. It has not happened. So let's keep pushing the power grid hard. I got an alert on our Freedom Restoration Foundation's website. You'll see Michael Mabey's website, and I'm gonna have Michael Mabey on here again in just a matter of a week or so, talking about this stuff again. We've found that the Chinese have components and power grid components that have been shipping to us that have cell phone capabilities built in, so they can power grid calls home to China. And from China, what can they do? Switch stuff off, cause it to crash, to burn. Wow, and it's not just the transformers, it's even more than that. You know, the previous president, somebody with they call orange hair, had put out an executive order saying we couldn't buy stuff from China to put in our critical power grid systems. Next president, first day in office, first thing he does, executive order, rescinds that. Really? Guys, like I said, get ready. Eyes wide open, head on a swivel, get ready, prepare now. My next video, one of the next videos I'm going to do really soon, is going to detail to you why I'm expecting there's a lot of pressure on China to hit now. Very soon, within a matter of months. Time may be very, very short, and I hope and pray urgently that I'm absolutely wrong. Sometimes you don't want to be right, and this is one of those. This is one of those times I do not want to be right. But what I do want is for you to be prepared just in case, because that probability is a lot more higher than my comfort factor right now, a lot more higher. So Get rid of guys. Give your family, your friends. Start forming little mutual assistance groups and get right with your maker. But don't ever panic. Somehow we're going to get through this. Some of us are, and on the other side of all this hits the fan, we're going to stand up, shake the stuff off, and build a better world if it comes to that. But I hope and pray that it don't come to that. Anyway, with that said, again, one of the best things we can do to fight this kind of stuff is love. Why? Because as light dispels dark, love dispels hate. Go out and shine your love light in the world. Let's spread something positive. That's one thing to do. Also talk to your congressman. Go to that Freedom Restoration Foundation website, look on the Action Center, tells you how to contact your congressman. All kind of details on that. With that said, thank you for watching and have a awesome weekend coming up here. Greg out.